this is not my trade. मुझे Bombay नहीं जाना है, मुझे Delhi जाना है. So sometimes you want to, drop your journey and change the path. But in earlier education system, there was no such provisions available, right? So might be I have opted a different course, but in between the course, I'm not finding it interesting, or the interest is subsequently developed to study something else, or I am evolved now to choose what is good for me. So in that situation, what way this NEP, new education policy, is addressing this particular issue? Dr. Sharma.
Namaste, Puneet ji. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and also to Vikas ji. And of course, I welcome my senior Professor Sanjeev Sancheti ji, a well-known figure in the field of education, especially the higher education. See, we must understand that this is the first education policy of the century. So definitely, whatever the constraints we were having in the past, they all have been tried and have been taken care in this new education policy. And as far as your question goes, what has been planned out is that we must have a multiple entry, multiple exit system. That's the basic feature of this policy. And ever there should not be any distinction between science, arts, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, non-academic, academic. Basically, each activity which is being taught to us has a credit. So now the concept of credit has been developed, where basically it has been planned out that if a student is going for a course curriculum, let's say, for example, he goes to a university system. Now, basically, parents have been saying you become an engineer, or you become you take a management course, or you become a arts guy, you take then you will take a ICS exam. So what happens is the candidate, the student who has done the 12th pass, he goes to BA or engineering or BArch like that. Now he doesn't get a time to discover himself, knowing that what he can deliver, where he has got the intelligence level. Because if we see by theory, there are 9 levels of intelligence. Now he may be very good in speech, but he has been asked to do something with arts. He has nothing to do with that. So that is the basic emphasis which has been given in this policy, where basically the student who goes to the college education system will have a freedom to select the subject, which may be a combination of arts, science, commerce, or any other subject, and basically he will earn the credit. Even if I remember correctly, 4 months before, I have written because of this pandemic situation, when the technology has been put to use in online education, I put a very, very smartly a paper in the Times of India and Economic Times also, saying that in the times to come, there will be a time where you will do credit from different institutions, and these credits will club together to get a degree to you. So I think this is what basically has been framed out in this policy, where you can have a multiple entry. For example, if I do a course for a year, I will get a certificate course, or maybe if I do for 2 years, I will get a diploma. If I do for 3 years, I will get a degree, or maybe if I go for a 4 year, again a degree like that. So what is happening is, if somebody is willing to do some job after some credit, he is allowed to go out, do a job, learn more practical hands, again come and join the institution, but definitely within a time frame. It is not an open-ended time frame. And secondly, your credit will carry a value to you in terms of other your creativities also. So that is what basically the vision government has planned, that we must give credit to, we must give importance to the knowledge, the built-in feature, the things which we learn from the society, and there should be credit for that. So that is there is the new education policy, which is a very good framework which has been planned out by government. And I think they are even trying that whatever course he or she is taking in the higher education system or the college education system, the skilling component has to be there. Because finally what is happening is, the way we are the youngest country in the world, we have got the population of, I think, almost 50%, almost youngest population which has got in the country, where we see that we have got 64% in the working age group from 15 to 59, and almost less than 25 years, which is 50%. So I think skilling has been also plugged into the whole education system, where we are having a multiple entry and multiple exit.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. Now, when it comes to planning, we try our level best. right? Whatever remotest possible or impossible, we try to incorporate. But if the intent and content both are good, definitely a bigger percentages we are able to achieve it. So coming to Professor Sancheti, from your point of view, let us say since you are leading a big university, might be more than 20,000 students are there in the group, if I'm not wrong, offering all streams. In what way or how, a roadmap can be prepared to execute in not taking much of the time, like 15, 20 years, let us say for next 2 years and then 5 years, 2 वर्षीय 3 वर्षीय और 5 वर्षीय योजना के तौर पर हम बात करें तो किस तरह से a plan for execution can be prepared and what are the challenges? You are on mute, sir. Because
so you will have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Yeah. No. System was not allowing me, so now they open it.
Yeah. We don't do. We just once we allow muting,
it's done. So I'll first try to add some value to your last question, which you had asked for a simple reason that I'm a great deal interested in that. What was shown by or answered by Ashwini ji, and then I'll come to your question, take your question again. And this is the thing which I'd like to share with you, one slide here. Just a minute, I'll come to the slide now. Slide share, okay. This is a slide which I'd like to share with you. And please see it carefully. This is a slide which is a concept of ABC which you're trying to ask, Academic Bank of Credit. I'm very fortunate that I've been working on this particular scheme since almost more than a year and a half on behalf of UGC as a core team player. And this scheme gives you the choice of any subject or any combination, and therefore all the boundaries are broken: science, commerce, engineering, and whatever. It also merges all the modes of what you call the distance, online, virtual, regular, offline, everything. And therefore it becomes flexible education. It also makes you lifelong learner, means you can come in, come out anytime. And that's why this multiple entry and multiple exit, it can happen. And the beauty of this is that while most of you are hearing a 3-year degree program will become 4-year, I'm telling you, even a 4-year program can become 3-year based on the student's choice. And engineering can be done in 3 years if this scheme comes into existence in toto. Still, the work is in progress. It is not yet fully done. We are still working on that. And hopefully by December, this should be public broadly. And therefore, a 4-year degree can also be done in 3 years by an intelligent student. And maybe a student who is laggard possibly can be going slow. Similarly, international boundaries are going to be punctured or physical locations are going to be changed. Credits will be the new currency for education. You can convert into any product or any degree or certificate later. And then there can be a possibility that you can also have the new degree called, like we started BWalk some time back. There can be a Bachelor of Liberal Education, meaning thereby I've taken 4 courses of commerce, 4 of arts, 4 of science, 4 of engineering, 4 of medical, and I've earned enough credits to earn my degree. But I don't specialize in any domain. In that case, I can be getting a degree of what we call Bachelor of Liberal Education. So there are many features which are going to come into that. And that's why this will make it what we call a student-centric policy. Till now, education has been either institutional-centric or has been at the best teacher-centric. Now it is going to be the student-centric. Now, Puneetji, I'll request you for your question. You wanted something on the implementation, if I'm not wrong.
Please yes, please.
Yeah,
a roadmap for execution.
Roadmap for execution. One thing I've already given you, for example, this is the biggest thing in the policy. Everyone is talking about ABC. Okay, the one which I showed you. This, the day the NEP was getting announced, our committee was working. We were meeting simultaneously on the same day, same time, discussing the finer things of this ABC policy. We have already drafted the regulations. The regulations have been given to UGC now for final process of approval. And hopefully they will go here and there in Law Ministry or wherever it has to go in MHRD, etc. And then it will be then pronounced as a new scheme. Already some consultative processes have happened with the academic leaders. So that is one step of execution which I'm trying to tell you. Now, if I see the 10,000 institutions becoming degree awarding, I've seen in last 1 year in Chennai itself, a large number of institutions have been given autonomous status. There are some benchmarks which have been specified. Tamil Nadu being a front runner in higher education, many institutions easily qualified. They got the accreditation, they got various other benchmarks of rankings and other things and diversity. And now they are getting that status of autonomy. So what I'm trying to say is, in terms of implementation, the things have already started happening. In terms of, let's say, the higher level regulatory bodies, I think the discussions are already on for quite some time. What will happen to UGC? What will happen to AICTE? What will happen to various other bodies? I was myself involved as a president of AIU in front of the Parliamentary Standing Committee for UGC at some point of time. So ideas are all sitting there. Now that the main mandate is there that they want to do it, I'm sure they would know how to go about it. So I've taken some of the broad examples that implementation wise, it's not a challenge. The best part of the whole implementation is the ball is going to be in our court. The ball is not going to be in the government's court or regulatory court. The powers will be given to us. Autonomy has been emphasized adequately. Autonomy generally falls into the 3-4 categories called academic, administrative, managerial, and then of course financial. Now the financial one is a bit difficult, and without that to get full autonomy will be a bit difficult. But if we start charging reasonable fee and the government makes the allocation more and does it speedily, I think financial autonomy will also come to some extent. But all these implementation, for example, finance would not be a barrier in ABC implementation. You can always charge the fee which you like because it's a credit-based fee, and a student, if they like, they will continue with you. Otherwise, they'll go to another institution. So all in all, I'm not seeing too many big challenges, but we should not also be in great deal of hurry to implement things, because we need to understand the basics first. We also need to make sure that the new regulatory framework also comes into the place so that we don't kind of confuse the system that we already started doing something and it's not acceptable now. So with that, implementational issues will be with people like us and Ashwini ji and all of us. And therefore, I'm sure they will be resolved easily. And as it is, I'm seeing a lot of positivity in AICTE and UGC's approach in last 2 to 3 years, and certainly with the NEP also, that they are also ready to mold, change and all that. We know that as per the policy, you will be surprised that just 2 days back, we got the new framework of what we call the distance education and online education already announced. They have been broadly merged, to say so, which were sitting separately, which were qualified or were given different status in different ways. Yes, some difference will remain, but in terms of operation, they have been combined. And that's why their enactment of their law or whatever that policy or guidelines have come in a single document. So there are changes already happening, and I'm very positive about it.
Thank you. That should be the way, some people look bad in the good, or some people look good in the bad. So that is the approach. Many people have criticized this new policy in whatever the way, rather than highlighting the shortcomings or the points to improve or gray areas. I mean, that should be the approach of any academician, that welcome the change and find out how to execute. Now coming to Professor Sharma, recently Global Innovation Index was announced. So Cornell University in SIG France, collaboratively, they published this new ranking, and India has done wonderful in the year 2015. Our world ranking was 81, and now we are at 48th rank. So, I mean, this is because of the sincere efforts of all academicians and the culture which has been inculcated in all campuses, the culture of research, and which is leading to innovation and further entrepreneurships. So, your take on the emphasis on research and National Research Foundation, which is already being introduced in this new education policy. Professor Sharma, your take on that.
Puniji, see what is happening is, if you see, and after this pandemic of COVID, I think everybody is very much aware that now we have to become a self-sustainable in country. And that's the reason Honorable Prime Minister has given a slogan, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And when we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, although the policy was drafted much before a year and was under discussion, changes, modification, but now basically looking to this all, now even we are coming up with a new policy which is called Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, which is again under formulation and which is likely to be there by October or maybe November. What I mean by that is the major emphasis has been research, because until unless we start doing research in the country, we are basically dependent on other countries, and especially a country like China, where we are importing almost 80% medicines and electronic goods. So Government of India in the NEP 2020, besides allowing the existing research supporting agencies like, let's say, DST, DAE, or maybe DBT, that is for the biotechnology, or maybe Council of Astrological Research, has now created, thought of creating a new National Research Foundation, which will basically try to give the funding to the research scholars. And they have kept basically three main concepts. First is that funding should be competitive, should be peer revised grant proposal for all types across all the disciplines. They should not be restricted to only particular discipline of, let's say, science, engineering, or anything. They will be open to all disciplines, because growth has to be in all the sphere of the life, whether it is science or the earlier our, let's say, local technology or whatever it is. Then secondly, to seed, grow and facilitate research at the academic institution. That's the reason Government of India in the NEP 2020 has also clearly mentioned that universities will be mainly concentrating on research activities besides education, but the colleges which will be there, which will be autonomous colleges, they will be mainly involved in education only. So there is a emphasis on research, and to fund it out, basically NRF has been put in place. Then basically to act as a liaison between researchers and relevant branch of government, because in government system, if you feel, it is very difficult to go door to door to different organizations to put up your proposal, and that's the way concept of single window has been brought out through NRF for research scholars in the university, in the education system. And then basically the last one, which emphasis has been given, is the outstanding research and progress to be recognized. We need to award. If you see in the science, we had only the last Nobel Prize we had from the C.V. Ramana sir. So now the government is thinking very clearly that we have to come out with more C.V. Raman sir who can deliver, who can get the Nobel Prize at the national, at the global level. So I think NRF has been put in place to support the research and basically make students who are in the higher education, especially the universities, to go for more research.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. I would like to add one important point, that earlier research used to be the domain